Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Chicago Cubs. In 2024, the Cubs will be led by new manager Craig Counsell. As far as the roster goes, the Cubs just re-signed former MVP Cody Bellinger to a 3-year, $80 million deal. Last year, Bellinger batted .307 with 26 home runs, 97 RBIs, and had 20 stolen bases. Up the middle, the Cubbies still have Gold Glove defense in Dansby Swanson and Nico Hoerner. In addition to his stellar defense, Swanson also put up a solid offensive campaign, slugging 22 homers and driving 80 runs in his first year in Chicago. As for Hoerner, he's coming off a career high of 43 stolen bases, shattering his former personal best of 20. On the pitching side, the Cubs will look to 2023 All-Star Justin Steele. Steele was a workhorse in 2023, posting a 16-5 record and 30 starts and 173 innings. Behind Steele, the Cubs will have Jameson Taillon and longtime Cub Kyle Hendricks. Via the free agency market, Chicago also added highly coveted Shota Imanaga to a 4-year, $53 million deal. Imanaga posted a 7-5 record with a 2.66 ERA in his last professional season in Japan. In the bullpen, the Cubs added right-handed pitcher Hector Neris, who has experience closing games, but as of now is expected to set up for Adbert Alzolay, who had 22 saves with a 2.67 ERA in 2023. Now, let's take a deeper look at the 2024 Chicago Cubs. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Cubs just signed Cody Bellinger 2 days ago.
Yep.
We actually did a reaction video to that. If you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, it's going to be a big signing for them, getting him back. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily make the team better.
Yep.
It just kind of makes them the same as last year in a way, right? Obviously, it makes them better for 2024 because he's back. But what I mean
Right.
by that is it's not exactly him plus another addition. So,
Right.
what do you have on it?
Yeah, it's funny when we did that reaction video, it had him playing first base. Now they got him in center field where he's going to be playing for sure. Obviously he'll have some time at first base, but yeah, this was a team that needed Bellinger in almost every way. I mean, that would have been a huge loss in that team. That's easy 30 bombs, 80 RBI guy, maybe upwards of 100 RBI potentially. Won an MVP. We've kind of like sounds like a broken record, but he really figured out his swing, and it just makes the lineup deeper. I mean, obviously you got Nico Hoerner and Dansby at the top. Yeah, it's just a lot deeper lineup with Bellinger in there.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's going to play center field because I think you're forgetting about Pete Crow Armstrong coming up. So,
That's true.
um, I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be more so he is at first base. I mean, I could see him in the outfield and at first base. Who knows if they start PCA in the MLB to start, but you know, I honestly think that they will. And, with that said, I think that Bellinger's probably going to be playing more first base. They traded for Michael Busch
yeah,
with the Dodgers, but to me, that's more of like a bench piece
right.
at this point. I mean, he hasn't done it really at the MLB. They're projecting 14 homers, but in 2023, he had two with a
Yeah,
167 average. So how much can you really, bank on him putting up production there?
yeah. Yeah. So let's take a look at the pitching. Have you got anything left on the offense?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to talk about Dansby Swanson. He had a really nice year last
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
22 homers, 244 average, but he's usually around there. Nico Hoerner had 43 stolen bases.
yeah.
So in 2024, they're projecting him only at 31. I don't see how he would go that much down after last year. They do think the power is going to get a little bit better for Hoerner, but both of them up the middle, that's going to be key to their success for the next 3 to 5 seasons.
I like Madrigal on
Um,
that 9 hole too. Like he's a contact guy. Turn that lineup over for those four to do some damage. He's been a
Playing third base though,
yeah. I don't know about that as much at third base. Like that, this is a team that could use a guy like Matt Chapman if they do want to spend. What's their payroll at right now?
yeah, it's not good. They're already up there.
Yeah, two twenty
Uh,
five.
that's their payroll, but if you go to the luxury tax, right? They're at 234.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
probably
it's
done.
237.
They're probably
They have to
done.
go over the tax to do it. Uh, I think the ownership, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Cubs fans, but I'm pretty sure the ownership's even said like that CBT number is kind of like a hard cap for them.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, if you look at their payroll, they're pretty tied up already. I mean, you
Hmm.
got Bellinger, but he does have the opt out. So
Yeah.
Bellinger's pretty much on a 1 year deal for the next 3 seasons, if
Right.
you break it down that way.
Yep.
It's a 1 year 30. He has an opt out. He could be a free agent next year if he wants
Yep.
to. Then in the next year, say he does that, say he has a bad year. Okay, they can't get rid of him because the player option. It's another 1 year deal at 30 million. And then say he balls out and he's like, I want to hit free agency at age 30. He can
Yep.
then opt out again in that 25 offseason. So pretty tied up there. And then Dansby Swanson's all the way to 2030, as you see.
Yep.
Ian Happ all the way to 27, Suzuki to 27, Tyon to 27. Hendricks, 16 million is coming off the Bucks. Maybe that's the money that you find for Matt Chapman if you just want to eat it for 1 year.
Right.
But you are going to have to replace him at some point in that rotation. And then this Imanaga deal, we'll see how that works out. He has to prove himself.
Yep.
There's a lot of weird stuff. You can exercise options. He can opt out. It's crazy. So Horner's on a team friendly. Smiley has a mutual option at 10. Doubt that gets picked up unless he has a great year this year. And then they signed Hector Neris, which we'll get into in a sec. But yeah, they're at 234 as far as the CBT goes. And that's not really a place. I mean, for the Cubs, they haven't really gone over the luxury tax in the past. So it's kind of a hard cap. But if we go back to that depth chart, yeah, their bench, it is what it is. I mean, Garrett Cooper got signed to a minor league deal, I think, today.
Yeah.
As we're recording this. So he's projected to make the roster right now. Who knows if that's actually going to happen? Right. Patrick Wisdom, I think that he might get a little bit of love at third base, maybe. I don't know. I like Mike Tauchman off the bench. It's a good fourth outfielder. And then let's go look at that pitching.
Yep. Yeah, obviously Justin Steele had a strong year last year, like you mentioned in your intro. Like he got some Cy Young votes. He was a dog, ate some innings for them. Obviously Tyon, he's a guy that has battled injuries in the past, but the last couple of years has stayed relatively healthy. And then the wild card is that Imanaga guy, right? Obviously funky delivery from the left side. What are they projecting stats for him this year? Does it say?
Yeah. He got him at a 3.7.
That'll play.
That's definitely gonna play. I mean, damn guy's the 3-hole, but that's gonna be, a 2 in any rotation at 3.7 at most rotations. So Kyle Hendricks is always gonna eat those innings for them.
Yep.
I could see them possibly adding a pitcher at the deadline. That's what you gotta kind of keep that number below the luxury tax too if you want to add at the deadline too. So there's a lot in play here. You got to get there. Obviously you can kind of give to get, right? Like to give maybe a Yan Gomes and you trade him to get some money off to supplement this pitching staff. A lot of things can happen at the deadline. So they kind of have to keep it a little flexible if they want to add at that point. But in the bullpen, Neris is going to be a setup man. He has closing. He was at a 1.71 ERA last year, but he has closing experience. But Alzolay is probably going to be the closer for them. He had 22 last year, and he's projected for 28. So they're projecting him to be the guy. As far as this bullpen goes, it's not the greatest. So that's another place.
It's a bunch of veteran guys that have just kind of just done it before. I mean, obviously Smiley's been a starter. Alzolay had a really good season last year, 28 saves, kind of broke as a closer for them. So that was good to see. Obviously kind of a late bloomer. He's entering his age 29 season. So he's only been in the league for like 3 years too. So he's kind of came out of nowhere for them, which is a good bright spot last year. But they could definitely use a reliever for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to look at their starting pitching depth if I can get there. Because you're gonna need it at some point, right? So it doesn't look like they've really done anything on like the minor league side.
Thomas Pannone.
Yeah. They haven't done much. They haven't done much as getting like a MILB deals for anyone yet, but I'm sure those are coming at some point. You have Smiley, like you said, and Assad also threw some starts last year, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not
Pretty sure
sh-
he had a couple of starts,
yeah,
but
he might have. He might have.
Drew Smiley looks like he's going to be that guy that slides in if somebody
Gets
unfortunately
hurt.
gets hurt.
Right.
So, yeah, you got anything to add?
Not really. I mean, obviously, the getting Bellinger is big. Let's take a look at the projected standings here, unless you got somewhere else to go.
Yeah, I was
Obviously,
just looking at they lost Candelario, they lost Stroman.
yeah,
So,
Strome's obviously going to be a big loss for sure.
yeah. So, yeah, as far as everybody else goes, I mean, it is what it is, right? So,
Yep.
all right, let's go look at the standings. They have them in second place behind the Cardinals, but only by 2 games. Realistically, we've talked about this in a couple videos now. This this division's wide open.
Yep.
I don't think the Pirates. I mean, the Pirates in last, honestly. I don't. I mean, maybe they. I just. I don't know. I think the Reds and Pirates are on the up and coming.
Yeah.
So
They got some good young cores.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they have the Brewers, going 80 and 82. So they really. I don't know. And what do you think? Do you think the Cubs can win this division? Do you think?
Like my heart says the Cardinals are going to bounce back and be the team that we expected they were going to be, but Um, if the Cubs get good starting pitching and they stay healthy, there's no reason why this team couldn't win the division. Like they got a good
Yeah.
lineup. They got a pretty solid rotation. I mean, you had Imanaga. Yeah, it's all about health. I mean, you can say that with every team though. So, yeah, like you said, it's wide open. I can honestly see the Reds sneaking in and win the division too, to be honest. Like it's wide open.
How much of a difference of Craig Counsell and David Ross do you think that really is going to be?
I liked I thought Ross was a good manager. Obviously, Craig Counsell brings that more of a pedigree, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Consistency.
right, consistency. Like he's consistently brought the Brewers to the playoffs, and he's just a really good manager. Runner up in the manager of
Hmm.
the year last year, and I think he's gonna get that Cubs team going. Like he's a really fiery guy and gets his team fired up. Ross was a fiery guy too, obviously a passionate player too. So yeah, that's a really underrated ad for them this season was snagging that division rival Craig Counsell from the Brewers. Kind of threw everybody off guard there for a bit, but yeah, I really like that move for sure.
Do you think that they would splurge, like we talked about them going over the pit, over the CBT?
Yeah.
You think they would do it for Montgomery or Snell?
If there
Because
if
that's what
there
they
was
need
a
to add.
if there
So
was a guy I would do it for, it would be for Snell. Like I think you if you went to ownership and be like, hey, we can get Blake Snell at say 27 to 28 a year. I think maybe you do something like that.
yeah,
Or if you want to go on the cheaper side and say, hey, we can get Montgomery for say 20, maybe you go that route too. Like I think like those are arms that take you to from an 81 team to maybe like an 85 win team or an 86 win team. Like that's
I think
like
Snell. I think if they added Snell, they would be front runners for this division. But I
I think
think
so
they're also
too.
comfortable with, hey, we're already in it.
Yeah.
Starting game one.
Yeah.
This division's wide open. We don't have to overspend
Right.
because the rest of our division is what it is. So I don't know. It's interesting, but other than that, like and subscribe and thank you guys. Channel we brought it back a couple weeks ago and it is growing very quickly. So just want to say thank you guys for all the love and then see you on the next one. Later.